Webinar 10: Customer Feedback, Social Customer Service and Reputation Management. Welcome to the 10th webinar in our Digital for Tourism webinar series. Over the last 9 sessions, we've taken an in-depth look at best practice on digital technologies and covered the key steps in planning, implementing, and proactively managing effective digital strategies with the aim of building sustained customer and competitive advantage. Now in Webinar 10, we will look at how the rapid growth of connectivity and social media has led to the need for businesses to be able to respond to their clients' needs 24/7. For tourism businesses, the delivery of social customer service excellence has become the key competitive weapon, and if done properly, it can deliver high levels of client satisfaction in a cost-efficient and effective way. We will delve into the different ways that you can offer this level of service to your customers and provide you with tips and tricks on how to handle different types of feedback and requests in a professional and reputationally preserving manner. Presentation of main concepts. When we think of social media and various platforms that it comprises of, it's wise to compare it to a big conversation. With millions of people feeding in their opinions, views, experiences and comments, it can become your most valuable marketing tool, but only when it's managed properly. The issue with a large, unmoderated conversation is that it can be difficult to keep up with what's being said, and it can also be hard to track customer feedback, both positive and negative. For tourism businesses, reputation is everything, and with most customers checking reviews of services before they purchase, making sure that your online feedback reflects your true quality of your offering is extremely important. Remember that the negativity spreads quickly and often attracts more attention than positive feedback. So making sure that you are one step ahead and are monitoring what is being said at all times is key. How to monitor and listen to what is being said. With multiple platforms such as Google+, Facebook, Twitter, TripAdvisor and Instagram, all possible sources of conversation related to your tourism business, it can seem like it's a daunting task to keep up with it all. There are several ways of doing this, and some are more time-consuming than others, so it's just a matter of finding the formula that works best for you. Real-time monitoring. As a rule, you, or someone related to your business, should be checking all of your social media channels at least once a day. Be sure to log in and check direct messages, mentions, shares, retweets, comments, likes and reviews. Even better, if you can make all notifications appear on your personal mobile device, then you can ensure that you can manage any issues the moment they arise. Whilst you're logged in, it's always worth using social media channels' search function to look up the name of your business to see if anyone's talking about it. Join community groups, review groups, tourist and expat groups that are relevant to your country, and be sure to keep an eye on the posts that pop up in case you get a mention. If you factor these tasks into your daily routine, there's no reason for them to take up much of your time. Remember that becoming aware of any conversation, including your business, or being available for a client to contact you directly through social media is an extremely important part of the level of customer service that you are expected to provide. Automated monitoring. There are several websites out there that will help you keep tabs on your social media mentions automatically without you spending time searching on each platform. You can also harness the power of Google to let you know when your company's name or related terms pop up in its indexes. As long as you have a Gmail account, it's just a matter of using Google Alerts and selecting the terms that you want to be alerted of. For instance, Hotel in Dorset or Sandy Beach Diving School, and clicking to confirm. Once this has been done, each time content with your specified term is indexed by Google, you will receive a notification right to your email inbox. Of course, the success of Google Alerts rests on you choosing appropriate terms and ensuring that you are not too general or too specific with your terminology. Another example of a popular tool that you can utilize to assist with your social listening exercises is Hootsuite. We touched on Hootsuite in a previous webinar where we described its capabilities of posting on multiple social media platforms at the same time, as well as having the ability to schedule in advance. The tool can also be used to monitor conversations by the user choosing the business name, other handles, keywords, hashtags, and even individuals' names and company slogans. The best thing about Hootsuite is that you can take advantage of a free trial before you decide whether to purchase or not, meaning you can test its advantages and suitability for your business before parting with your money. Responding to reviews. Your response guidelines. It may be that due to time constraints, there is a need for you to nominate other members of staff to assist in the monitoring of social media and review sites. In cases such as this, it's wise to have some response guidelines in place so that you can ensure a consistent approach to your responses and interactions with consumers. These guidelines should include things like the tone of voice used, whether it's professional, friendly, or humorous, the standard solutions offered to the most common complaints or issues, and a procedure for escalating situations should the situation demand it. Be human. As a consumer, there's nothing more frustrating than trying to interact with a business or service provider and getting a scripted answer. Being human and responsive in your communication is key to staying on the right side of your customer or potential client. Avoid stiff-sounding responses that are typical of automated emails, and make the effort to engage with the individual and personalize your responses to their exact requests and queries. An example of a typical message type to avoid would be something like this in response to a complaint. Thank you for taking the time to contact us. We have taken note of your comments and will investigate and resolve the matter internally. Customer satisfaction is very important to us, and we are happy to have managed your feedback adequately. This type of response is impersonal and does not give the client any sense of closure or genuine reassurance that their issue has been dealt with. It's obviously a scripted response. Preempt and plan ahead. Unfortunately, it's pretty impossible to predict crisis. There are some tools out there that will alert you to an emerging crisis, such as Brandwatch. These tend not to be applicable to smaller businesses. The only way to stay one step ahead of the game is to ensure that you're monitoring your social media effectively, as well as being ready to react should anything go wrong. Ensuring that you have a contingency plan for crises, or just a clear idea of the steps you need to take in the case of a small PR incident, it's just as valuable as having any kind of forewarning. Set the tone. When dealing with customers online, it's important to have an established tone of voice. This should reflect the tone used on your website and in your marketing materials, but it should also retain an element of distance and professionalism. Whilst you want to strike a good balance between salesperson and friend, retaining a level of professional calm is very important. This is characterized by not using foul words or losing your temper, not being sarcastic or emotional, finding solutions and keeping at the back of your mind the old adage, the customer is always right, even if he or she is not. By keeping the tone consistent and calm throughout any exchange, you will remain in control of the situation. You will also find that many customers, if confronted with an aggressive business representative, will become more aggressive and disagreeable. By staying calm, you increase the chance of the customer responding and perhaps even beginning to mirror your tone of voice. Prioritize. When it comes to prioritizing your responses and interactions, the general rule is you should deal with any complaints or negative feedback first and foremost. Remember that every minute that negative comments are in the public domain or have not been answered is a minute that a potential customer could be seeing it and making a decision not to use your services. The second most important type of interaction to prioritize is inquiries from new clients. And the third is to acknowledge positive responses. Set boundaries. Whilst it is also important to seem human during your interaction, it's also important to respect boundaries and not overstep the mark. It's important to be friendly and polite at all stages of your interaction. Retaining an air of professionalism and distance is of uttermost importance. Crisis management. An unavoidable part of being in an online conversation is that there is every chance you could at some point encounter a crisis. This crisis could be of your own doing, or it could be an incident that is blown out of proportion by a disgruntled client or competitor. Either way, if not handled correctly, it can cause lasting damage to your business and possibly result in loss of earnings or reputation. When dealing with a crisis, be it on social media or normal media, there are a few steps that you need to follow to make sure that you do the utmost to solve the situation and limit any damage that may have possibly been caused. Respond swiftly. Now is not the time to bury your head in the sand. The longer you leave the situation without intervening or being seen to have a presence, the more damage that can be done. Even if at the initial stage you just acknowledge the situation and advise that you'll be dealing with it in due course, this is better than saying nothing at all. Take responsibility. How much responsibility you take depends on the nature of the incident, but remember that any denials will be seen as defensive and could backfire and make you look more guilty than you are. Don't try and cover up the crisis, face it head on. Take responsibility and respond to the feedback immediately. Do not get embroiled in public arguments and instead deal with the intricacies of the issue with the individuals in question in private. Release a statement. Depending on the nature of the situation, it may be necessary to issue a press release. The best place for you to release this statement is on your social media platforms. Firstly, remove all emotion from your writing. Stick to the facts, be clear and succinct. And remember to accept responsibility where you have it. Do not attempt to cover anything up or make a statement that would cause you problems at a later date. Stay calm. There are cases where after certain types of incidents, you could be facing a large amount of social media backlash. You need to prepare yourself for this and remember not to retaliate or let the stress of the situation affect the way that you speak, respond, or handle the situation. People may try to provoke you to get a response, and the key is to remain calm, professional, and measured at all times. Present solutions. It's all very well apologising and saying that a certain situation will not happen again, but in reality, this means very little. You'll need to advise the public of the steps that you are taking and will take to prevent a similar situation from happening again. Remember to act fast with this before people lose faith in your brand and business. Remember that you will never please everyone. Even if you're offering the best service in the world, there will always be someone that will complain or get upset. This is an unavoidable part of customer service, and the internet and its many social media platforms and review sites have created a breeding ground for this type of consumer. You cannot avoid this type of attention, but by following the aforementioned steps, you can certainly lessen the impact that it has on your business and your reputation. TripAdvisor and other review sites. For those that don't know, TripAdvisor is a free platform that allows clients to review an establishment or business, leaving photographs and making comments and ratings. With more than 300 million users every month, TripAdvisor has become a must-visit site for consumers that want to check out peer reviews and comments before they buy. Bearing in mind the power that TripAdvisor reviews have over the buying decisions of millions of consumers every day, it is important to realize how much importance you give to managing your reputation on the platform. If you're not already a member, you should sign up. Make an effort to respond to every single review that's left on your company's page, and be sure to prioritize negative comments first. Remember the points of setting boundaries as well, and ensure that you are polite and offer as many solutions as possible. Bad reviews are an inevitable part of running a business, but consumers will be looking at how you handled it rather than just what the review said. If you can show members of the public that although you received a negative review, you managed to handle it gracefully, politely, and calmly, whilst offering solutions to placate the client, then this will go a long way in repairing any potential damage that the negative comment could have created. Daily monitoring of your TripAdvisor presence, as well as providing swift and satisfactory responses to both negative and positive reviews, is key to your success. Of course, the principles also apply to other similar review sites, and you should be sure to dedicate sufficient time to monitor your presence on each of them.
For Taxify, digitalisation is everything. It's allowed us to improve the processes for our customers by increasing the speed of information between customer and driver. On the old model, a customer would start in his location, call for a taxi, and the driver would usually be quite a long distance away. By using data, we're able to link the closest customer to the closest driver as fast as possible in a matter of seconds, so that when a customer decides it needs a taxi, there's one available close by, usually within 1 or 2 minutes. So you pull out your mobile phone and you see your driver and how close he is. What this means is less travel time from driver to customer initially, less fuel, less cost for the customer, and we're able to deliver a much faster and cheaper service for our customers. So we do analyse data in order to look at where the busiest times are, where the customers are going to be, and to give an idea to our drivers of where they should probably focus their locations. However, with data being real time and so fast, there isn't even the need for this pre-planning really. With enough drivers and customers and a good balance and ratio, the data being immediate and so fast, it looks after itself. the drivers will naturally be located where the customers are because this is where the demand is coming from. So with data, it's even simpler. Thinking about it, the answer is no. If we lose the data, we close shop tomorrow. The whole value and quality of service relies on fast, immediate use of data. So we lose the data, we lose a business. I think choose an easy life, mostly. With data and technology, that means you don't even need to organise or file this data and review and plan. The work is just done for you with the right technology. Taxify is very intelligent technology. It comes from Estonia. Estonia is often referred to these days as the Silicon Valley of Europe, and a lot of intellectual equity and data and technologies coming from there, and they did a really good job with Taxify, and it makes everybody's life much easier.
Summary and links to next webinar. During this webinar, you should have gained a deeper understanding of the way that consumers interact and discuss businesses and their experiences online. 3 main takeaways from this session would be: understand the importance of monitoring online conversations at all times and how to handle a variety of situations. Be proactive in taking the steps necessary to mitigate any fallout from a PR disaster, which could cause you and your business reputational damage. Have a clear policy in place that clearly specifies who is responsible for certain situations and the engagement rules that he or she should follow when dealing with them. Hopefully you will never be in a situation where you're required to follow them, but a crisis management plan in place will be your business's lifesaver should anything go wrong. In the next webinar, we'll be looking at the internal perspective. This concept explores the way that the tourism businesses can use technology internally to rethink the way that they do things, to improve operational efficiency, knowledge transfer, and to adapt to rapidly changing market circumstances.